Hey guys, so today I'm going to be going over a recap of Love is Blind Season 2 UK version, and I'm going to be going over the episodes 8 through 10. So my next video is going to be the reunion, but I just went ahead and watched 8 through 10 because I was like, listen, I am behind, I just need to catch up. Yeah, so let's just jump right into it. In episode 8, a lot of people met each other's family. So Ashley and Billy fly to visit Billy's family, and Ashley hits it off with his family, of course. She has a very bubbly personality. I feel like there's no one she can't get along with, honestly. So his sister pulls him aside, and he tells her about how he's not sure, how she's cabin crew, and he just doesn't know. Meanwhile, Ashley's there bonding with his mom, telling her how happy she is and how she can't wait for them to be related, you know, like, oh, I can't wait for you to be my mother-in-law. And so they were both basically on different levels, you know. Ashley's like fully in already, and then Billy's still like teetering. He's like, I don't know, you know, like he was just very unsure still, which I thought was was a red flag for how far they are into the experiment. At the same time, I do understand Billy's been married before. He's really worried. In my opinion, I think he might have been married to a lady who already worked cabin crew, to be honest, because of the way he's perceiving it. Either that, or he has friends or like knows someone who dated someone doing cabin crew. His concerns seem to be very deeply rooted, especially, like I said before, for him to confide in his dad and tell him that as long as he didn't meet someone that did cabin crew, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that was very suspicious in terms of, you've been through this before, haven't you? Like, it just seemed a little too close to home. So, moving on, Katisha and Javin, they went to meet Katisha's mom and her siblings at a little like bounce place, like a little indoor trampoline park. And her mom basically was just saying that, hey, listen, like, I just want someone who will love her as much as her man loves her, as much as her mom's man loves Katisha's mom. Which I thought was really sweet. Like, I would have loved if her partner, her husband, whoever he is, her, you know, like was there and could like offer some insight. Like, I think that would have been like a nice touch, but who knows why they didn't include that. And like the whole time watching that, I was just like, you guys know my feelings about Javin, whatever. And I was just like, why is he even here? Like, why is he meeting her? It's just a waste of time. But anyways, so Rover, her mom finally met Cal. Freaking finally. And you know, I was actually really surprised because her mom was very concerned, again, rightfully so, and her mom expressed those concerns. You know, it's her first child, her first daughter. She's used to things happening a certain way. So I completely understood that. So honestly, to me, it was understandable why Rover's mom was concerned. And so, you know, I didn't really hold it against her. Like, I was like, you know, this actually makes sense. And so it was really sweet to me when her mother, like, seemed to accept Cal pretty quickly. Like, I thought it would take her a while to come around, but you know what? Like, you can tell that Rover's mom really loves her. Like, you can just tell because the way that she was like, you know, I think she saw the difference in her daughter and how sincere and how sure her daughter was, and she was just like, okay, you know what I mean? And I thought that was so, like, it was so sweet. It was so touching, and like, I didn't expect it, so it was especially like heartwarming for me. Even though in the beginning of their meeting, Cal, I don't know if it's the way they edited it, but Cal like was being so awkward. He was being so awkward, and I was like and I feel like Rover's sister could like feel the vibes too, like the awkwardness, because she looked very like as well, but maybe I'm reading into that, I don't know. So on to our favorite couple. Katisha and Javin have a conversation about the party that Javin went to by himself, and Katisha asks him, hey, like, could you tell that I was upset that night when you left? And he was like, no, not really. And then he tries to make it about like, oh, you should have been open about it, which it was very obvious that she was upset. Like, he just chose to ignore it to go on to his own selfish needs. So anyways, so she tells him that she was upset about it, and he honestly writes her off about it. He basically just tells her that, like, you know, I talked to different people and hung out with the guys, like, you have nothing to worry about, basically. And she kind of conceded, and she was like, okay, you know what, like, I will trust you until I don't have a reason to anymore. And I can see her reasoning, but at the same time, like, he's had so many red flags already. Like, he has showed her again and again that he doesn't care about her feelings. And I feel like she just kept ignoring that. And it made me so sad. Like, it made me so sad, but I was just like, and then the clip moved on to Kieran and Megan and them talking about how apparently Javen and Sophie were in a photo booth. They were in a photo booth together during the party, and how he was talking to Anu and he was talking to the other girls that were there. And I was like, what? And like, I wasn't surprised, but I'm like, you know that they're there. Like, you know there's other people there. Why would you act that way? Like, I thought his nonchalantness towards Katisha, like, had reached its peak, and he hadn't even gotten started. What do you mean you went into a photo booth with another girl when there are witnesses around, especially? Anyways, so we find out that Megan wants to tell Katisha, and Kieran was a bit like hesitant about it, but ultimately he was like, yeah, like, I get it, you know? And I was so glad when I saw that, because I was like, oh, thank God. Like, I'm so glad this isn't something that pops up in the reunion, and it's something that they addressed immediately. So Katisha and Megan talk, and of course Katisha is pissed. She was like, you're joking. And like, she was in denial at first. Like, when she said that he was talking to them, she was like, oh, like, with other people too. Like, she kind of thought that they were heading into the direction of like, oh, he was just talking about them, you know? And like, one thing that really seemed to set Katisha off was when Megan told her that Javen had said that, like, that he liked the other girls and he liked Katisha. Like, I can't remember the exact way he worded it, but he basically, like, because I can't remember exactly how he said it, the gist of it was him saying like, oh, I like Anu, and I like Yolanda, and I like Katisha. But I think it was something else. I think he said either like, I don't know. Basically, anyways, he basically like put Katisha on the same playing field as the other women that were there by saying that like, oh, they're nice and they're nice and Katisha's nice, like, and so she was pissed. And so Katisha goes home and immediately starts packing her shit. She starts packing her bag immediately. And at this moment, I was like, yes, Katisha, finally. I was so happy because she had expressed that she had told Javen about her past dating trauma. And then he goes and does some weird shit to her too, after knowing about the things that she's been through with her exes. Oh, man. And Javen walks in and he's like, what's going on? And she confronts him and he's in denial, of course. He's in denial, and he was like, I was talking to everyone, and I was talking to the guys most of the time, and this, and that. And he's just in full denial, gaslighting her, of course. And it seems like the way that the scene ended, it seemed like Katisha was like hearing him out, or like starting to like, to me, it seemed like she was like, okay, maybe, you know, they did misinterpret, but I was wrong, thankfully. because Katisha got out of there. She got out of there. She left him a note. And freaking Javen, guys, he rips up the note and dramatically goes and throws it in the trash. And then there was even like a scene of him saying that, like, oh, you know, she's gone, and like, it just really shows me that, like, I really did like her. Like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. When did you like her? Were we watching the same show? You must have liked her secretly, because you sure didn't show it. And then he calls Patrick, and then Patrick is like, oh, well, you know, if she's not sure and she leaves, like, you know, then it is what it is. Like, basically, like, comforting him and, like, validating Javen, even though there's nothing to validate, because the man did not care about Katisha at all. And Katisha gave him she gave him so many chances, so much time to actually, like, fix things and to give a fuck about her, and he just did not. He just did not. And I feel like I'm repeating that, but, like, I cannot emphasize it more. Like, he did not care about her at all. At all. Like, I think he's trying to save face by being like, oh, like, I'm just realizing that I did care. Like, anyways. So, Javen decides to confront Megan and wants to sit down with her and Kieran and set the freaking story straight. And he basically starts telling her, like, did you see me talking with them the whole time? Did you? And Megan is like, I wasn't watching you the whole time. I'm here hanging out with my fiance, talking with other people. But every time I looked, you were with another girl. Who does he think he is? He thinks you're just going to sit there and watch him the whole time? But the fact remains that every time you did see him, he was talking to another girl. And then he tries to say something about there wasn't even a curtain in the photo booth, and he only went in there because him and Sophie were arguing. What could you possibly be arguing with Sophie about that is important enough to go somewhere privately and discuss it when you have a whole fiance at home? Nothing. So let's say that the curtain was open and they were just sitting in the photo booth talking. I would have still found that incredibly inappropriate. And then for Kieran to back Megan up and say, yes, there was a curtain. Like, why is Javen sticking with these little details? He's like holding on to them. Like, you saying I was only with the girls? That I wasn't with the guys at all? Oh, there wasn't even a curtain. Like, oh my God. Javen sounds like a compulsive liar. He sounds like he manipulates every woman he is with. These are my opinions, again. But from what he was saying, he was sounding very, very manipulative, very much gaslighting, very much it's like, you know, when you tell someone like, hey, I heard you were with that bitch with the blue hair. And he's like, blue hair? I don't even know nobody with blue hair. Instead of addressing the whole fact that he was with someone else. Yeah, that's what he's giving me. Freaking Javen, dude. But yeah, thank God I didn't have to see them anymore after that. I wish Katisha all the best, but Javen, he was just driving me crazy. Like, he has not liked her ever since the group on vacation was talking together about how wrong she did Demola, which again, I don't think she did anything wrong. But yeah, ever since then, I think he just did not give Katisha a chance at all. And so I was glad to see him go, let's be honest. Anyways, so then after that, we jump into the stag and the hen parties, which is basically bachelor, bachelorette. It was really cute. Like, the girls had like a drag queen, and the guys just had a bunch of their guy friends there. And like, I thought it was funny when the guys were chanting like, stag, stag, stag. I was like, I loved that they were having fun. It was cute. But then there goes Billy again, talking about how, oh, I don't know, like, she's in cabin crew, and like, you can just tell that he's under a lot of turmoil about the situation. But it still was upsetting to me because you can see how much Ashley is really in love with him and how sure she is about him. And the guys are telling him, like, hey, like, you know, if it's a no now, what makes it a yes later? Like, you sound very conflicted. And he said, like, you know, if the wedding was tomorrow, it'd be a no. And, like, that pissed me off. Like, that pissed me off, not gonna lie. I was just like, dude, Billy, like, you're wasting Ashley's time. Like, in that moment, I felt very sorry for Ashley. Like, she is so sure about him. And, like, I forgot to mention, but back when they were visiting Billy's family, there was a moment where Billy was honest with her and he told her he wasn't sure. So honestly, credit to him for not blindsiding her. But you could tell she was so heartbroken. She was so heartbroken. And at the bachelorette, at the hen, is when she opens up to her sisters about it. And they were very surprised. And like, they were like, why didn't you tell us this before? And like, I could tell that they really felt bad for her. And they know that she deserves the world. And I think they just, in that moment, were heartbroken for her. And then Barda discloses that her and Jed had their first argument, and that basically they were arguing about who paid for dinner, that Jed had made it a point to tell Barda, like, hey, you know, I want to pay for dinner. And Barda was like, yeah, okay, like, but then when the bill came, Barda's like, here's my card. And Jed was really upset about it. And you know what? I actually really liked that Barda's friends validated Jed. Like, to me, it felt like they were validating Jed, and they were just like, hey, like, he felt strongly about that. And Barda was like, I'm just used to being independent, and like, honestly, Barda, like, I was like, girl, just let the man pay. Like, it isn't that hard just to let him pay, especially when he went out of his way to tell you that he wanted to. Like, come on, like, I get you're independent, but like, let the man pay. Like, girl, it felt to me as if she is just so used to paying the bills, like, almost in like a traumatizing way. You know what I mean? Like, I could be very off, but I feel like when people are that adamant about paying the bill, like, usually there's something associated with it. And maybe I'm reading too into it, but that's kind of like a sense I had. And it did seem like she was open to like working on that. And then even Jed, he was talking to the guys and he was expressing his feelings and how like he wants someone to listen to him, and he wants someone who, like, because he opened up to her and he specifically told her that, like, hey, I want to pay for it. Like, this means a lot to me. And she didn't listen. So to him, it wasn't even that she paid. It wasn't like, oh, I felt emasculated. It was literally just like, I told you how I feel, and it feels like you're not listening. And I was like, okay, Jed, like, okay, like, my assumptions were wrong before when I said he couldn't handle her being so independent. Like, it's clear that his priorities were just like, hey, like, I told you this and you still, you know, you still didn't listen. And like, he seemed more hurt about that truly than he did about her just paying. So I thought, like, okay, like, this is something I think they could definitely move past. But yeah, Barda seemed very troubled that like they were arguing about that. Like, she was like, oh, we had our first argument. And like, truthfully, I didn't feel like it was that big of a deal. Like, it felt like he upheld his boundary, essentially, of like, hey, I asked you something, you agreed to it, but then you didn't follow through. And I felt like that was important for him to do. So I'm kind of wondering if Barda's just not, I feel like Barda just doesn't do well with conflict. So after the bachelorettes and the bachelor parties, they move on to the weddings. And, you know, Karen and Megan, they get married. Like, I'm gonna just sum it up to that. Like, come on. At this point, I knew that they were both gonna say yes. And they both knew that they were both gonna say yes. They performed their wedding dance together. It was really cute. And then Sorover and Cal, they also get married. I wasn't too sure about them, honestly, because I feel like we didn't get to see much from them in general. And it was just really cute because, like, before the scene of their wedding, it recapped like their time together. And you kind of got like a glimpse of like their time together, even though it wasn't as emphasized in the show. And they truly seemed to be in love, and I thought that was really beautiful. And then Barda and Jed, they walk down the aisle, and Barda in her vows says that she promises to do all the wifely things, just not right now. Yeah, I was shocked, honestly. I thought her and Jed were a for sure thing. Jed was shocked. Barda was crying. Her mom was crying afterwards. And basically, Barda does still want to be with Jed, but the arguing honestly shook her. And I think she's just worried that maybe they're not as compatible as she thought. And not in the way of like she doesn't want to be with him, but that she just wants more time to explore their connection and to just date. And Jed seemed truly heartbroken, and I felt so bad for him. But I do think that that was the right decision, because ultimately she needs to be comfortable marrying someone. Like, this isn't just agreeing to a second date, agreeing to be someone's girlfriend. This is literal a marriage. And if you're not sure and you're having these fundamental differences, like if Barda feels like she can't be as independent as she wants to be, you know what I mean? Although I don't think that was the main problem or anything at all. But I'm just saying, like, if there's fundamental differences, then I think having more time to really get to know each other, there's nothing wrong with that. And of course, for us watching the show, we're like, no. But truthfully, I think that was the right decision. So then Billy and Ashley, it's their wedding day now. And they walk down the aisle, and Ashley says yes, of course. And then Billy says yes too. I did not expect it. I did not expect it at all. I thought Billy was gonna say no. And I think that's probably why the producers like dragged all of Billy's conversations of him saying he wasn't sure, is because they knew they eventually got married and they just wanted to like spin that, you know, storyline for a little bit. So further seasons, I'm gonna look out for that. I'm gonna look out for like them pushing like a certain narrative, because surprise, they do get married, which I was really happy for them. But you know, I do still worry because he is clearly very troubled with her job still. So I do think that at the reunion, either they will have found a rhythm or annulment. You know what I mean? Like, because what other options are there? You know what I mean? So I really like Ashley. I hope that everything works out with them. I'm really excited to see what happens at the reunion with them. And I have high hopes. I just hope Billy doesn't screw things up. So Rover and Cal, so at the reunion, you know, so Rover seems like such a genuine person and so loving, and I can see them both still being together. Cal, I don't know much about him. I think they make a beautiful couple. I hope they're still together, but if they're not, I blame you, Cal. But I do hope they're together still. So for Barda and Jed, you know, I hope they're dating still. I hope they are still exploring their connection and still happy together. But I would not be surprised if they're broken up. And I kind of expect them to be broken up, because Jed was very upset, and Barda, although she wanted to continue the relationship, I have a feeling that Barda is not someone who will backtrack. Like, once you're at the altar and then you're not, you know? Like, will you make it back up there? I don't know. I don't know. I hope they're together, but I kind of do think that they may have too much of a clash in their expectations of each other. Like, Barda wants to be independent. Jed wants to be in charge. You know what I mean? So I'm curious to find out. And I know the episode's out, but I haven't watched it yet. And then our last couple, Megan and Kieran. So I really hope they're still together. I feel like they are. They seem like a beautiful couple. I don't have much to say about them other than I think it's gonna get heated with Megan and Javin and Katisha. And if they bring Anu back, which I feel like they will, I think that might get a little messy too. So that's kind of my predictions for the reunion. Like, I know Javen is gonna be lying. He's gonna be lying. He's gonna be pushing some kind of narrative. I do hope that they play clips. I hope that there's some clips from their night out. And I hope that they play them. But I kind of think that maybe they don't have clips because of how bold Javen was by pulling her into that photo booth. You know what I mean? So I kind of think that he felt safe to do so because there was no cameras. That's my thought on that. But I hope that there is some kind of proof. Like, that would be so juicy. And yeah, like, I hope Katisha is loving herself, and I hope that she's found someone else, but I also hope that she's just healed in general. It seems like she has a lot of relationship trauma in the past, and Javen definitely didn't help. So yeah, that was kind of the recap from the episodes, and I'm really looking forward to watching the reunion. I did start school, so things have been super busy. I don't know when I'll get to it, but I'll try to get to it as soon as I can. I literally only have like a few views on each of my recaps so far, but honestly, like, I just love putting my opinion out there, and that's all these videos are, is my opinion. But for anyone who's watching, like, thank you for watching. It feels good to like think that hopefully I have repeating people watching who are interested in my takes on certain things. I feel like I am pretty insightful, but who knows, you know? I don't know everything. The vibes aren't always correct, obviously, and I'll own up to that. I'm not saying what I say is correct or the right thing. These are just my opinions, and the only thing I know I'm right about is that Javin wasn't shit. Bye. See you next time.